Listen, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we got breaking news in the NBA involving Ace Bailey. You already know Ace Bailey has arrived and landed in Utah. He is in the mountains right now as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. This is big time news. And what's even more crazy is fresh off the jet. Ace Bailey is in the gym working out. This is spectacular. Everybody thought that Ace Bailey probably wasn't going to be coming to Utah. You know, people thought that he had all of these different locations he wanted to go to. One happened to be the Brooklyn Nets, but Ace Bailey has finally landed in Utah. So this is spectacular, man. Salt Lake City, they got themselves one. Now, I know he had to come to grips with things, obviously. He thought he was going to Washington. He thought New Orleans and things like that. He didn't want to go to Philly. It was a lot of stuff. The draft was crazy for Ace Bailey, but now, Ace Bailey can move on. And this is what I wanted for him. I wanted Ace Bailey to get what all of the other rookies got. It's time to forget about where you wanted to go. Thank God that you in the NBA, and I see that energy coming from Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey not only landed in Utah, but he had on Utah Jazz paraphernalia. He had on the jersey, he had not a jersey, he had on the shirt representing the Utah Jazz. I seen a fitted as well, representing the Utah Jazz. You know, the Jazz got a lot of good paraphernalia, so I can't wait to see how Ace Bailey turns all of that up. Ace Bailey was seen excited to play with guys like Keontae George, obviously Isaiah Collier, and the rest of his teammates. When you really chalk it up and forget about what you wanted and you look at the roster seems intriguing for Ace Bailey to come right in and take that mantle. This is spectacular, and I'm here to tell you that they got the infrastructure, up there in Utah as well. Utah don't get enough credit for the infrastructure that they have in place. But he has landed is official. Ace Bailey is in Utah. He was surrounded by nothing but family. Bailey stepped off the plane ready to join the Utah Jazz. In a short clip, Ace looks very happy. I mean, ecstatic, ready to be, great under Will Hardy's system. It's special, that he was able to meet all of his people. We're going to get into everybody else that's there and the involvement. So make sure you subscribe because I'm going to be breaking down that how the people they got in the front office. Utah don't get enough credit for what basically what they bring to the front office. It's crazy. I'm gonna be all the way real with you. You know, Ace Bailey is going to go off, in my opinion, come summer league. He is facing the Philadelphia 76ers with VJ Edgecombe and company. It is going to be truly, something to behold with that game because of all of the ramifications. He didn't want to work out for Philadelphia, and then you got VJ where who's to say that it would never been some kind of switcheroo, to say the least. This is it doesn't make any sense. Ace Bailey, he should have been picked probably third, you know, and maybe if everything went accordingly, he probably would have slid up to second because if you look at San Antonio, did they really need another guard or did they just move with Ace Bailey because there wasn't, nothing else really the best available? So that's something that is something that checks my boxes. I'm like, what really went on in this draft process, and what if Ace Bailey would everything went straight according to plan? But nonetheless, Ace Bailey could lead this talent. They got all these guys from Georgia there. They understand what's at stake and they know who Ace Bailey is. And they need that number one. And Ace got that swagger. You see, he got the chains. He didn't hop off the jet with the chains, but you seen the draft, so you see the flair in the way he speaks. This is what Utah is missing. They haven't had this since Donovan Mitchell. You had Carlos Boozer there. You had Darren Williams. It's been a while since you had that vocal leader, in Utah. And this is what they need. And hopefully Ace Bailey just completely revamps everybody's mindset, and he lets it be known that he is ecstatic to be up there with the Utah Jazz. Um, Ace Bailey is already seen jumping from nearly the free throw line. Ace Bailey was working on some things with the Utah Jazz trainers. He's in the practice facility. Most people would have probably landed, went to go try to find a house or wherever they're going to be staying. They're going to take care of Ace. This is going to be his home for the next couple of years. They will be flying out immediately. We will have coverage for you when the press conference takes place. The press conference could be either tonight or I'm thinking probably tomorrow. So Ace is getting to work, y'all. Utah knew what they had to do. If I'm not mistaken, Austin Ainge, the son of Danny Ainge, he said this is his dream scenario. This is his dream scenario to have a situation like this involving Ace Bailey, and he's going to fix it and get everything right. And this was everybody's fear, for Ace Bailey in terms of just getting to Utah, just land in Utah. And you see what it's like now that he's in Utah. The coach Will Hardy is there. Everybody is there to make sure that Ace Bailey's time, doesn't get wasted, and they able to sell Utah to him, even though he's already going to be in Utah. It's not as bad as people make it seem. And you had to play basketball at the end of the day. This is your squad. Now go up here and be a superstar for the Utah Jazz. You got pieces here. You're not just coming here by yourself. I can't wait till he gels with his teammates. We're going to be able to see him with Isaiah Collier in the Summer League. They haven't announced the Summer League roster, but they will be practicing. So what's going on with Ace Bailey. I want to see that partnership, because I believe that's going to be the future, somewhat of the future of the Utah Jazz, and Isaiah Collier and Ace Bailey, two Atlanta products, So and like I said, it's more Atlanta product, but those two in particular, it seemed like they have a special relationship already, and I want to see a blossom on that basketball floor under Will Hardy. But this is what Utah needed. They needed a guy like this. You wasn't going to get this flair from Trey Johnson. You wasn't going to get this flair from, some of the other people that possibly was going to be there. So give credit to the Utah Jazz for getting the guy that they wanted and making it very clear that Ace, you are who we wanted, and you're going to be the man here for the Utah Jazz and nowhere else. This is the NBA draft. It's just how things work, y'all. Ace Bailey is here in Utah. He's in the mountains, Salt Lake City. Stand up. If you're rocking with the Utah Jazz, make sure you hit the like button and most definitely hit the subscribe button. You already know what it is. It's Flight Sports TV. We're going to be bringing more Utah Jazz and Ace Bailey content to you. I repeat, Ace has landed in Utah, and he's already in the gym. Let's get in the comments section. Let's get interactive. It's Flight Sports TV.